The Rugby World Cup quarterfinals are nearly here. The Springboks have got the challenge of France, and in this video we will be trying our best to predict who the Springboks will go with in their starting lineup and reserves for this upcoming monumental fixture. It is myself and it is Rugbyitch. Springboks through to the quarters, mate, facing off against France, who are currently an undefeated side throughout this Rugby World Cup. Do you think the Boks have got what it takes to get their way towards the semi-final?
Yes, they definitely do. I mean, it's one of those like where I'm just giving you straight up. I definitely think the Boks have the ability to beat the French. Again, we know the French obviously don't have their strongest team going into this one. I mean, both sides don't really have their strongest team. Again, Enterback obviously being out for the whole tournament, and Dupont, there's a bit of risk involved if he'll be able to start or not. And yeah, just again, it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be tense, similar to what we saw in that Irish Boks game. Really excited to see what happens, of course. And I mean, I'm going to be there live, so just it's going to make me it's going to be even more tense watching it in person. But yeah, no, very excited.
You mentioned about those French injuries, of course. For the Springboks, the big news: the return from injury of Lukhanyo. Whether or not he makes an appearance in our predicted starting lineups, of course, we will soon see. But for yourself, front row for the Springboks, who do you believe the selectors will be going with in this contest?
Yeah, so in terms of the front row, I've selected for this quarterfinal matchup. I've gone with the likes of Steven Kitshoff at number 1. Number 2, I've gone with Bongi Manombe. And number 3, I've gone with France Malherbe. So again, it may not seem that it's a tough call to go with these 3, but I just think the one that I was kind of like 50-50 between was really the number 3 spot with France Malherbe, because in my opinion, he just hasn't been as impressive within this World Cup, and he's actually given a lot of penalties through the scrum for what we've seen within the group stage. And I was considering Trevor Nkande to maybe start in this game, but I just feel, I don't know, France Malherbe, he's used to being in that position anyway, starting the game. I just feel like you got to give him another opportunity and do it in this one. So yeah, that's the front row I've selected for this France game.
Well, for myself, I have gone with the exact same. Steven Kitshoff number 1, Bongi Manombe is my number 2, and France Malherbe at 3. I guess one benefit for France Malherbe is he may not be scrummaging the best at the moment, but he has got 100% tackle completion throughout this Rugby World Cup, making 17 from 17. So at least there's that part of France Malherbe. I believe he'll start to find his form as we head further through the competition, though. For the Springboks, Mbonambi at 2. Of course, the backup hooker, it will either be Dion Fourie or it will be Marco van Staren. And Mbonambi, I believe, with him being the starting option, gives him that stability near the start of a game, and then a little bit more jackling, perhaps, from the replacement hooker near the end of the contest. Looking at the locking duo, no surprises really here for myself. Number 4, Eben Etzebeth. Of course, he's going to be in there somewhere. For the Springboks, brings that physicality, huge amount of experience, and just as an all-round tough competitor, which is exactly what the Boks want. Number 5, I've gone with a man who has a brilliant line-out steal, and that is Franco Mostert. I feel like that is somewhere that the Springboks can use to their advantage throughout this game up against Les Bleus. If they're able to get a couple steals, get their momentum back in their favour, that is when the Boks can be dangerous on the counter-attack.
Yeah, no, similar to you. I'll go on the exact same duo there with Eben Etzebeth at number 4. Franco Mostert number 5. I just think this is the duo you have to go with. They've played most of the minutes together after this group stage so far in this tournament. So you just go with it once more in this quarterfinal. And again, they will be facing the likes of Cameron Walkie and most likely Thomas Vlamont. So it's a pretty good duo that they're going against. And it's interesting because I made this comment actually yesterday where, in my opinion, this is probably the next duo of locks that will go in they're not in their prime right now, but will be in their prime in the next World Cup. And it's similar to what we saw with Franco Mostert and Eben Etzebeth in that previous World Cup, where I believe they're in their prime in that one. And within this one, it's kind of like you can kind of say maybe like the last dance. I mean, with Franco Mostert, you could say he maybe has one more in him, but for this combination, if you get what I mean, it will be kind of like the last dance. That's kind of what I meant. But no, just I'm really excited to see that battle overall. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And perhaps a last World Cup in the cabinet for Eben Etzebeth and Franco Mostert on their journey. Looking at the loose forward trio. For yourself, I assume you have stuck with Sia Khaleesi as your captain at 6. But loose forward trio, who have you got for this monumental match?
So yes, like you said, I have gone with Khaleesi number 6. Number 7, I've gone with Peter Seth at number 7. And for number 8, I've gone with Jasper Wiese. It's a bold call, but I think he's been the more impressive 8, when obviously going against Dwayne Vermeulen in that position. And I just think out of the two, Jasper Wiese has impressed me more throughout the group stage. So, yeah, he's the one who claims that 8 spot for me. Again, previous to the toy, it's been pretty good throughout this Rugby World Cup. He hasn't really done anything wrong. He scored that try in the opening game against the Scots, and he's kind of continued that form throughout the group stages whenever he's had his opportunity. And yeah, Khaleesi has really been very consistent since coming back from injuries. So yeah, there's no way I was ever taking him out. So yeah, no, that's my least forward trio.
And it's the same as my own. Number 6, I have gone Siya Khaleesi. Has been a tackling machine throughout this Rugby World Cup. He had a bit of a rough game. I believe it was the second match that he played in, but from there has been able to bounce back extremely well, which is, of course, very promising to see for the Boks. Number 7, Peter Steph du Toit. And then number 8, I did go with Jasper Wiese, even though in a video I did recently for my Springboks starting lineup, I was going to have Dwayne Vermeulen. But then I looked through at what happened in the last contest. Dwayne Vermeulen playing 7, Jasper Wiese playing 8, and then coming off after about 51 or 55 minutes made me think they're saving Wiese for this contest, and then Dwayne Vermeulen, seeing as he played the 80, would make more sense for him to come off the bench. But now we move on to the 9-10 combo. This is probably the most talked about 2 positions for the Springboks, mainly the 10, of course, but for myself at number 9, I have gone with Faf de Klerk. It's not so much what I would select per se, but I believe it's what the selectors will go with in this contest. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. Playing a kicking game up against France is a very dangerous battle. The likes of Thomas Ramos, Chalébert as well has been doing very nicely recently. But Faf de Klerk, I think he'll get some sort of minutes in this contest, and I believe it will be. In the starting side, number 10, the seesaw of emotions for Springbok fans, Manie Libbok or Handré Pollard. It's been a highly debated topic in this matchup, though. Quarterfinals of a Rugby World Cup. Even though he's had limited minutes, I believe they'll start Handré Pollard. And that is because of those early 3-pointers that he might be able to add to the total. That's the thing. Manie Libbok probably would be able to kick them as well. But the reason I'd go with Handré Pollard in the starting lineup is to have that attacking prowess of Manie Libbok late in a game when the French are starting to tire. Perhaps he can start opening up those gaps just that little bit more.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. It's tough. It's really tough to pick the 9-10 combination. And I actually do think it's tougher than what you say for the 9 spot as well. Because, yes, I mean, I have also gone with Faf de Klerk in that position. But, again, it's really between, I mean, you have Grant Williams and Kobus Reinach really as the 2 kind of competitors or contenders for that spot. And I wasn't really considering Grant Williams because he's played most of his minutes out wide. In terms of that 14 spot. But yeah, no, when it comes down towards Kobus Reinach, I mean, when you think about it, I think Reinach actually plays more like Dupont. So, but the problem with that though is that if you have 2 similar 9s, I think the better one is, Dupont's the better 9 anyway in terms of how the same kind of playing style. So he'll beat him in that battle there. So I just think Faf de Klerk is kind of like going to be like an outlier and can match up against Dupont's a bit better than what I think Reinach could. So that's the reason why I've gone with Faf de Klerk there as the number 9 option. And then, yeah, for number 10, I've also gone with Handré Pollard. It's a big call. It is actually a massive call to put Handré Pollard here as the 10. You normally be like, oh, yeah, no, Handré Pollard's got this easily. But it's one of those where I'm still even – I always say this, like, where, yes, if you got minutes against Tonga – which we both said, which is needed to kind of put him in kind of the conversation for this quarterfinal, then it would make us a bit more, I guess, at ease in terms of what we've just done, like putting him on our starting lineup here. But yeah, just there's a bit of me that just like, oh my gosh, it could just turn out to be the worst decision ever. But no, I truly believe Handré Pollard. He's still a world class flyhalf, one of the best actually. So there's no doubt in my mind that if you give Handré Pollard the ball in this, he will convert. Literally, I mean, I can't even remember what percentage he actually had back in the 2019 World Cup. Someone obviously let me know in the comments what his percentage was because I'm curious to know that, of course. But I do believe he can kind of continue that kicking percentage onto the knockout stage. And yeah, just I'm just excited to see what it can do, because it is very different, the playing style between Handré Pollard and Matty Libbok. So we'll definitely see a change in the whole back line. I truly believe that, with starting Pollard ahead of Matty Libbok can kind of change, I guess, the direction how the Boks go. Because to be perfectly honest, guys, I do think the Boks have the ability to score more tries when Libbok is on the field compared to Pollard. That may be a harsh thing to say, but it's just the way that the playing style works. But again, that also depends on, I guess, the other players you have as well. So we'll get into that, obviously, with the rest of the team now.
Well, you make a good point. It's kind of similar to comparing apples and oranges, isn't it? Yeah, very different, but both good. More vitamin C in an orange, isn't there? What does an apple actually have other than fiber?
Yeah, as I say, fiber. Yeah, that's the one that you kind of go straight away. Like bananas has calcium, and I can't remember the vitamin for apples.
It doesn't matter, Tim.
It doesn't matter. Let's just get into the centers.
Are in the fruits, in the centers for this matchup. Number 12, I have gone with Damien Dialindi. I believe they will go back to him in the starting lineup over Andre Esterhuizen, and then number 13, it wouldn't make sense to switch up that combo now, so Jesse Kriel is who I believe they will go with. At number 13, who's in some pretty decent form at the moment throughout this Rugby World Cup competition, and to be honest, Damien Dialindi, he's not looking too bad either with what he's been able to do throughout these group stage fixtures, so that is who I've gone with as the Boks midfield.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more there. I'd honestly say Jesse Kriel has probably been the better center, actually, when comparing the two in terms of just form throughout the group stages we've seen so far. But yeah, just like you, Dim Dundee number 12, Jesse Kriel number 13. Just simple as that. I mean, that's the combo you have to go with for this this match against the French. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting battle, because you're facing likes of Dante and Fiku, and they're going to definitely test you, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm very fascinated to see who'll win that battle when it gets towards that game.
Very physical. And number 12, if it's Dante versus Dialindi.
Dante he scares me. Like, imagine if he was running, if he has the ball, he runs straight at you. Oh, you're gonna have some problems for sure. It'll take a lot to tackle him down, that's for sure.
Although that's the thing, Ebenetzebev will see that, widen his eyes as he does, line him up, and then just
Ebenetzebev will come from the side and just take him out.
Like that spear tackle we saw from Tuisova on the Portuguese number 15. A massive hit. I do apologise, Tim. I did actually steal the centre combo from you. You were supposed to go first. So now I will allow you to do the...
I think we're going to have the exact same lineup. By the way, guys, I did call this before we recorded this video. I think we're going to have the exact same lineup, because we do think alike in that sense. And I've gone with the likes of Cheslin Kobe at number 11. I've gone with Curly Lorenza at the number 14. And Damien Williamson at the number 15 spot. So, yep, there you go.
The exact same, eh? What is the reasoning behind it? Do you think Colby and Arinsa in this game have a chance of switching? That is something that's been a talking point.
Yes,
over this week.
That's common. Like whenever they're playing now for the group stages, we've seen like just going back into that first game we saw against Scotland. I think halfway through the game, in that first half, and I think halfway through the second half, they made the switch twice. To switch Kobe and Curly Lorenzo around. So they'll definitely do it within this game. I'm pretty sure of that. Because again, you have to think who they're going to be marking. It'll be, who'd it be? It'll be Damien Pinot.
Maybe
against the likes of Kobe. Yeah, Melbury. He'll go against the likes of, Curly Lorenzo. So I think the Williamson one is the one which is tricky, because yes, I mean this is the decision I was on about when we were going over the lineups. Was not putting Will LaRue to start is a big call, because I'm actually a big admirer of Willie LaRue. I've actually always stood by him whenever maybe fans were kind of against him in a few games. I always just thought he's experienced. He's never kind of just trust the process really with him, and just eventually he always kind of makes up for it really, just in terms of the performances he puts down the field. So but it's tough, because Williams he's had a better World Cup. He's been pretty good throughout this World Cup. And when you have someone like Handré Pollard, who we've both selected to kick, you can have a bit more freedom from the back. And I think Williams gives you that freedom and kind of creativity compared to the likes of Willie LaRue. But saying that, I guess Willie LaRue is probably the better player in terms of, I don't know, getting the ball out to the wings and finding that assist. So it's a really tricky call. But what's your take on it?
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking Damien Willemse makes a lot of sense at 15 when Matty Libbok's at 10. But what about when Pollard's the 10? does that work as well. Marnie Libok and Valimza, I like that combo. Pollard and Villy LaRue, some might actually say that that is a better combo that they could go with in terms of for those individual styles
it's a lot more
between the
experience
two.
as well.
But yeah, I wonder whether or not that is where we will be faltered in our starting lineup, perhaps because we did go with Valimza. But then where do you put him off the bench if you haven't got Marnie Libok in the starting lineup?
We'll get into this later on. Yeah, we'll get into it later on to the bench.
But now the benches. We are on to it now. 16, 17, and 18. I'll let you go again. Who have you got as your front row replacements?
Yeah, so in terms of my front row replacements here, off the bench, I've gone with, like I said, Dion Foree as the number 16 option. For number 17, I've gone with Oxen Che. And number 18, I've gone with Chebe Nkanye. So like I said, guys, I wanted to put, I was really considering to put Nkanye in the starting lineup, but I made kind of not the last minute call, but just I made a call and made the decision there. I'll put France Mahib at the start in this one. So I don't know. That could be reversed, maybe. I would not be surprised, by the way, at all if the Boks were to put Nkanye to start. But yeah, we'll see what happens on that front.
Number 16 for myself, I've got Dion Foree. I mentioned about that late turnover opportunity that he brings to the Springboks. Could be absolutely crucial in the dying minutes of the game. And also the other benefit that they had was in the starting lineup when he played not too long ago. 100% line-out accuracy.
Yeah,
so that helps them massively there, unlike Joseph Dweber, who's got 4%. No, that's a bit harsh, isn't he? Joseph Dweber, he's a bit higher than that. 40% it
yeah,
in there.
Something like that.
Not too shabby for an international hooker. Number 17, I did go with Oxnashay as well, and number 18, Trevor Nkanye. Both men having some big impact off the bench, and Oxnashay, the only Springboks player so far in this Rugby World Cup who has played every single match. So the only player who can actually play 100% of matches for the Springboks. And I feel like that would be quite a cool stat to have. So I'm going to keep on playing him throughout the rest of this Rugby World Cup. And now moving on to the other forward replacements. Now for myself, I've gone with a 6-2 split. Have you done the same?
Exact same.
Okay, so in the loose forward trio, / the locks, number 19, RG Sneyman. Just seems to be that real impact player off the bench. They haven't even been tempted to put him into the starting lineup. Instead, giving him that chance off the bench each and every time. Has a lot of offloads. I mentioned it in my other video I did on the lineup. Best offloading lock in World Rugby right now, RG Sneyman. Certainly brings a nice impact. Number 20, gone with Quacka Smith. And then number 21, seeing as he wasn't in my starting lineup, had to be somewhere. And that is big Dwayne Vermeulen. So going with the experience off the bench of that man. Also giving him maybe around 30 minutes at the end of this game, depending on how Jesper Vest is going. Quacka Smith, impact player and a half. Turnovers 1 for his side. You can certainly see the type of impact he can have. And that's why I was almost tempted to give him the start, but I decided instead Peter Steph-Toy was the way to go.
Yeah, no, I think he is my favorite loose forward of the Boks. I've always liked Quagga Smith because, I mean, I remember watching him back in the days for the Sevens. So he has a really, I've watched him for a very long time, guys. So just to see how far he's come really in terms of the Boks and just what he's been able to accomplish is just remarkable. So yeah, no, he's insane. But similar to you, I do have RJ Sneyman there as my replacement blocking option. And then, I do have Quagga Smith coming off the bench. Similar to you, I was considering Peter Steph-Toy. It's a bit of a switch there in terms. It's actually close to what most people think, actually, because I think Quagga Smith's been really impressive at this Rugby World Cup. So you can make the argument for him to get into that starting lineup, but I think we both agree that he just misses out because obviously he can make that impact off the bench, which he normally does. But and I've like you. I've gone with Dwayne Vermeulen. So this is really turning out to be probably one of the first times in a long, long time where we guess the exact same prediction. I have a scary feeling it's going to happen, with Dwayne Vermeulen, I had to go with him. Similar to your reasoning, just he's someone you want to obviously have him in the game somewhere. So he's coming off the bench for sure.
Alrighty, well, we've got 2 positions left. We both have Marnie Libok at number 23, don't we?
Yep.
Thought so. So that leaves us only with the replacement halfback. Now we've got Kovas Reinach, we've got Jaden Hendrickse, and we've got Grant Williams. Straight away, I feel like Hendricks is off the table. So that means Williams or Reinach. You've gone with one of the two. And I've probably gone with the same guy. So who have you got
We've gone
as
with
that
the same
number
guy.
22?
I don't know why we're delaying
We've got
this.
to. He got a hat trick, didn't he?
We both gone with Cobus, right? Yeah.
Gone all right
Yeah.
so far.
There you go. I can't believe it. We've actually gone with the same lineup. Now it makes it even more likely for you guys to criticize our lineups here, but just give us a chance. Like we really did not know we were going for the same lineup here. Like this is all on the spot. But no, I mean Cobus Ryan, he's had a great World Cup. I mean he's scored 4 tries. I mean, yes, I know 3 of them were against Romania, but still he's been very impressive at this World Cup. And yeah, just someone you can definitely rely on, coming off the bench. Again, he did play a few minutes on the wing. Not saying it's going to happen for the for the future of this tournament, but yeah, it's just something which it's definitely something that's good to have. Because I know obviously with Grant Williams, we both haven't gone for him, but he's definitely a bit more versatile compared to Cobus Ryan, where he can play scrum half and wingers. So I assume we both took that into consideration. But yeah. Cobus Ryan just has to be it.
Well, there we go. For the first time in our prediction history, I believe we've done over 50 of these videos.
Yeah,
for the Springboks, for the All Blacks.
I think there's only one prediction. I could be wrong, guys, but if you guys let us know, obviously in the comments, by the way, guys, if you've watched all of our prediction videos, because I'm really curious to see if someone's actually watched all of them. I could be wrong here, but I think this is probably the second time. If not, it is the first time we've ever guess the same scores here. So yeah,
and I guess that just makes it that much worse if they go with a completely different side, doesn't it? We'll be both wrong rather than both right, but I guess that means everyone's a winner. It's like a participation award that we've got. Don't often get them right. Let's hope that this time for the Springboks we have absolutely nailed it. But do let us know who you guys think will be in the starting lineup and reserves for the Springboks this upcoming game up against France. It will be an epic encounter. The winner goes through to the semi-finals to face either England or Fiji. The loser will have their World Cup come to its end. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Do check out Rugbyitch's YouTube channel. It is in the description down below. Also check out the Rugby Recap podcast where we do our preview and review of international rugby, including all of those playoff games that are coming up just around the corner. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and we will see you all for the next one.